Alright, we are here with match 4 of the Standard League with this mono green Stompy deck, and I am going to keep this hand. It's looking pretty good, I think. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves is really tough to turn down. Okay. Play Llanowar Elves. Figure out what we're going to do turn 2. Because turn 2 we can play Merfolk Branchwalker, or we can play Ronus's Last Stand, and I think Ronus's Last Stand is actually the right call here. Because we're just going to get to really push out some damage. This is a weird selection of colors. I do not know what my opponent is playing at all. So what's cool is we're actually going to get to play back-to-back Ronus's Last Stands here while taking minimum damage from this. Because next turn my elf will untap. I'll be able to tap these two to make another snake. And then I'll still have a land untapped, which I'll be able to use with the Llanowar Elves on my turn following that to play my Merfolk Branchwalker. So I think this is actually a pretty solid set of a couple turns here. So I'd imagine this is some kind of an approach deck, which surely we can just outrun a little bit. Okay, so this is interesting, because I got my one of Rishgar here. Now if I play him, I end up getting to power up my other creatures. And that's going to make it a lot easier to use my Ronuses, but maybe I just want to keep getting these going. Let's see, if I use this turn, tap those two, I'll still have 2 for next turn. If I top deck a land, I can play it, play Rishgar, otherwise I'm playing Branchwalker. I actually think this is okay. I just want to go in on the all-in attack plan here. And you know, this is just kind of a good test run for this deck. Just see what it does, what it can do, how to do it best, you know. Is this the right call as opposed to something else? I don't know. But we're going to find out if being able to deal 15 damage by turn 4 is the right thing. So they did not play a land this turn, so they seem to have missed a land drop here. We drew another Gear Hulk, which isn't a worst case scenario, but not ideal for us at the moment. I'm just going to attack in, play Merfolk Branchwalker post-combat. Hopefully deal 10 here. I guess Settle the Wreckage is a thing. That could be bad. Forgot that taps for 2 colors. Hey, guess what? There it is. Settle the Wreckage. Okay. Really difficult choice on what types of lands I want to get here. Okay, so we'll play Branchwalker. We're going to get to play some Gear Hulks next turn, which is cool. Do we want the Kinra? No, because I'll just get to eternalize that. Which actually seems pretty good. Because I could eternalize it next turn with the elf. I've gotten burned so bad with Settle the Wreckage recently. This is not a fun card. But luckily, they're not going to have mana up for it next time. So they're going to cycle this, get another land in addition to drawing. So I'm going to be safe to attack in next turn. That's good. That makes me feel a little better. I mean, they could have a Fatal Push in hand, I guess. Okay. So I can, if they have Fatal Push, so I have Blossoming Defense. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and play the Gear Hulk. Should have tapped the Hashep Oasis as one of those. That was a bad call, but this is not a matchup where 1 life's going to matter. And I'm going to spread out my damage, should I? Yeah. I'm going to spread this out. The Llanowar Elves is kind of at the point where it's a little bit past usefulness, in a way. So I think it's fine to distribute some counters to it. Now I'm going to get to attack in for 8 here. Take them to 10. And now I just need one more turn where I can get around Settle the Wreckage. Okay, so they're cycling Vizier, which is going to let them untap something. This looks like the really old-fashioned approach deck, like the very first one that they came out with back in the day, that just comboed off and you just did stuff. So we may be sitting here for a minute, if it's going to go off in the way that I fear it will. So I remember I built this deck in paper just for fun to kind of show it off, like, look what this deck can do, and it was awesome that first time I did it. After that, I got really, really tired of it. But they're just using a Gifts of Paradise here, so I actually feel pretty safe with that. So that's going to take them to 13. Oh, no. Okay, so Sheffet Monitor. Another Gifts of Paradise? So that's going to take them to 16, but I still think that's fine, right? 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 4 more off my second Gear Hulk. They're all tapped out, so I think that just wins. Well, let's find out. 1, 2, 3. Tap 2. I'll put them all on this guy. And then we swing out here for 16. Alright, on to game 2. I'm not sure I have anything in the deck to stop this. So, this is... Well, they have those enchantments, the Paradise things that are going to tap for 2 mana. I don't really want to sideboard in Naturalizes to stop those things. That just seems a little bad. Gosh, how did this deck play? It's been so long since I've seen this deck. I will board in Thrashing Brontodon, because that's not bad. I'm totally okay with that. Because that's not a card that's just going to be dead in my hand. I like Ghalta here, because it's just going to come out of nowhere and win me the game. I'll sub out one of my smaller, a little slower creatures. See, I feel like they were... Do they do something with Vizier in the graveyard? No, because they just cycle the Viziers to untap lands. I'm probably forgetting what this does, but I'm going on the all-in offensive here. It's not the best first hand, but I will keep it. It'd be pretty cool if I drew a Llanowar Elves here. I'd be totally okay with that. The question is, do I play Ronus's Last Stand on turn 2? Oh my gosh, wow! What are the odds? Well, they're 4 and 53, to be exact. But what are the odds, people? That is crazy. Okay, so this is going to let me... Let me see if my math is right. So I'm going to get to play Ronus's Last Stand here for 2. Have 1 up. Next turn play another, tap it for Steel Leaf Champion turn 4. Ghalta? Yeah. Let's do it. Sounds good. Ooh, Beneath the Sands, what is that? Search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, shuffle your library. That's interesting. So they do have 2 white sources. So Settle the Wreckage is always a possibility here. I will take a damage off of Hashep Oasis, but again, my life total I don't think particularly matters in this match at all. So I'm going to have to be careful next turn if they hold up all 4 mana. I think if they hold up all 4 mana, it's pretty likely that they have and they are, it's pretty likely they have a Settle the Wreckage. So what I do here is I get to cast out Galta for 2 mana. And that's going to allow me to attack in and be a little bit more risky with my plays because I have a 12/12 to back myself up. So yeah, I'm just paying 2, which is pretty good. Now do I attack in with both, or do I just attack in with one? I think it's near 100% that they have Settle the Wreckage. So if I just attack in with one, I take them to 10. If I attack in with both, I take them to 5. And I'm not sure 10 is that much different than 5 right now. So I'm just going to attack with 1. Okay, so they take it. I'm going to play Branch Walker after combat. With Jade Light Ranger on the top, sounds good to me. I'll keep it there. So next turn I probably just attack in with Galta. And then I have the rest of my board if they Settle the Wreckage me. Which again, pretty likely. Let's see. Okay, so here's Settle the Wreckage. As I expected, grab my land. And now I get to play both of these guys if I want. I don't think I really need to play both of them. I mean, I could hold up Blossoming Defense in the weird chance that they decide they are going to cast out or something. Ooh, Gearhulk. Sure. Seems good. Yeah, I'm just going to keep Branch Walker in my hand. Ah, Fumigate. Well, I guess I am definitely glad I kept Branch Walker in my hand. Okay. So I'm going to play the Branch Walker here. I'll play the Gearhulk on the turn after. Resilient Kinra, throw it in the graveyard so that I can use its exile ability, or whatever it is, Eternalize. Yeah. This game is getting dangerous. They're at 6 lands now. They're 1 away from, what's it called? Oh, New Perspectives. That's the card. Gosh, I forgot. Okay. So you draw 3, and then if you have 7 more in hand, you can just pay 0 on cycling. Gosh, that's the card I was forgetting all about in the deck. Okay, so they're probably just going to start cycling like crazy here. So I'm just going to F6. So this may be a minute. Feel free to fast forward in the video if you want to see if they end up going off, which in all likelihood they will. That Settle the Wreckage did well for them there. Oh, and then they did not. So that was very quick and surprising to me. Now here I can play the Gearhulk, load this up, deal 7 damage to them, which just has to be the right call over playing the Ronus. Yeah. So it seems like they may have just kind of bricked on their draws from the New Perspectives, potentially. You know, they don't have any of the gifts of Paradise, I think it's called out there. So even cycling the Viziers isn't going to do him a lot of good in that case, I guess. So we're going to hope next turn we get to attack in safely. I'll be able to just attack him with the Branch Walker, in case they do have a Settle the Wreckage in hand or something like that. And then play Blossoming Defense. Okay, so here's the Viziers. So they may have been waiting to go off for them to have untapped lands. Going to F6 again. Yeah, so this looks like where they're probably going to start going off. Down to 33 cards in hand. I think they've drawn like 9 cards since last turn or something. That's just crazy. There's a Gifts of Paradise. Ah, Shadow of the Grave, that too. Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah, return all cards with cycling. So the reason I'm going to have them go through this is because like I said, I once made this deck just to show it off and have fun, right? So when I made this deck, like the second time I played it, I did all of this, I comboed out, I drew every card in my deck, but my approach was the bottom card, because whenever I was playing it, at least, the deck only ran 1 copy of approach. So in that chance that approach is the bottom card of the deck and they just don't have a way to find it, don't have a way to get to it, I am going to let this go, because there is that potential it just kind of fizzles out. As much as it looks like it's not going to, it always does have that possibility. So they're down to 21 cards in the deck, just waiting for them to play approach right now. Returning Shadow of the Grave again, or playing Shadow of the Grave again. Okay, so this should be the first approach. I guess they're just emptying out all their mana into their mana pool, which is kind of unusual. Okay, so now they're using it all. There's the approach. They still have 17 cards in hand, so they're going, and 8 mana available. So it's just a matter of time. I'm going to go ahead and concede there since they found it, and we'll go to sideboard. I'm not sure I want to change anything here. I think this is just good. I guess I could bring the Death Gorges in, again, over the Branch Walkers, probably. Just because if they decide to cycle a Vizier or something like that earlier in the game, then it could eat that Vizier from the graveyard and stop them from returning it with Shadow of the Grave later on. Actually, what am I doing? I have Sentinel Totem. This seems good, right? Like that works the way I think it does, doesn't it? I'm able to just play that, and then they play Shadow of the Grave or something, and I just crack it to remove. Yeah. That seems probably better than the what's it called, the Death Scourge Scavengers. Let's try it out. Maybe I'm being crazy, but I think that'll work. On the play again here. This hand does not look ideal. I don't really want 3 Resilient Kinras. Not only 2 lands. I'm just not being very explosive there, I think. So I'm going to mull that. Hand looks a little bit better, I think. So I'll keep this. I'm going to put the land on bottom. I know I only have 3 lands, but the Jade Light Ranger's probably going to get me a couple of those. Alright, I'm going to play the snake here. I know it's going to stop me from playing the ranger next turn, but I kind of want to get that 5/4 on the battlefield. Alright. Attack him with it, take him to 15. What are they playing here? Okay, gifts. Alright. So, Ronus, that's pretty good here. I think I just play it. Yeah, let me go ahead and attack in, and then I'm just going to hold up Ronus. Next turn, if I draw a land, I can play the Gear Hulk. Otherwise, with them holding up Settle the Wreckage, I actually may want to do something a little bit tamer. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little bit more calm with this, meaning play the Kinra, power up the snake, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack him with the snake, and if the snake gets through, I'll probably use Ronus to pump it. If it does not, then I'll play the Jade Light Ranger post-combat. Alright, so they didn't cast Settle the Wreckage there. So this is going to take them to 6. And maybe I actually just play the Jade Light Ranger regardless. Actually, I don't want to do that. In the case that they have Fumigate for next turn or something, I'd like to be able to keep stuff out. And I have them down to 4 here, so that's a pretty good number, I think. Okay, so they're cycling Sheffet Monitor. They're going to get a second land. Where could this go? Oh, so that was my instep. My bad, I didn't even realize that was my instep. Okay, so there's New Perspectives. Are they going to be able to go off this turn with New Perspectives? 9 cards in hand, there's definitely a chance. I'm going to go ahead and F6. There's a Vizier to untap that. That's going to give them access to 2 mana. Again, they're going to have to do this enough to play both approaches this turn, which I think is just almost a little unlikely. Like they're going through a lot of their deck here, but they've still only found that one Vizier. So they're going to play Shadow the Grave. I still think they only... We only know of one Vizier in their hand. If they have a lot more, which they're bound to find some more here, then they're going to be able to get more mana. At this point, they can only get 6 mana with the Viziers they have. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be pretty sad if they end up going off this turn. That's gonna be sad. Ever so close to another match win here. This really has been a fun deck, though. Like, I've been a little unlucky against the Boggles last match and here with them going off, but this really has been a phenomenal deck, and I've had more fun with this deck just in these couple of matches than I've had in quite some time. They've only cast 2 Shadow of the Grave so far. We know they have 3 Viziers in their hand. They still haven't played the first approach, though. They're probably going to play another Shadow of the Grave here. They're getting very low on cards. Down to 12 in the deck. Okay, and there's the approach. Yeah, they're going to get to it here in a couple of cards and should be able to cast it to win the match. Sadly, unfortunately. We were 4 damage short. Alright. So 2-2 right now. On to match 3, or match 5, sorry. I'm looking for that third win.